So, what did you watch next?
Next, I watched Bloodsport, Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, which was done with GCW.
Now, was that the same as the GCW versus New
No,
Japan Pro Wrestling?
no, that's strictly pro. So Bloodsport, what Josh Barnett's Bloodsport is, and this is the 10th one, is it's a mix of it's pro wrestling and shoot fighting in a way. I mean, it's still pro wrestling. It's still what pro wrestling is. It's still, yeah. I don't use the F word, but it's like it's stage fight. It's made
on live shows.
It's made to use. No, that's not the F word I was talking about. It's made to be more realistic than.
Right. I mean, there's no ring.
There is a ring. There's no ropes.
There's no ropes. It's just a flat mat wrestling. So
right. Well, the ring poster's still up.
Almost like the WWE the
so when they did the that's what I was going to bring. So it was like imagine Raw Underground but done right.
Right
is the best way to say, and because these people are done, it's done like that, more of a shoot fight,
more of a dojo fight.
Yeah. So you had some amazing matches, and we just want to highlight a couple. The Mike Speedball Bailey, who if you don't know who he is, look him up. He wrestles in TNA. The kid is this. He's amazing.
He doesn't look like it either. He doesn't have the body shape or body type that I would associate with somebody that can go like he does.
Yeah, and he's a legit martial artist, and he's a really amazing high flyer, really good wrestler. He took on Nick Nemeth, and that match, though short, was pretty awesome. Nick showed a lot of his. I mean, he was a collegiate. What's call it? Collegiate wrestler, former collegiate wrestler. The guy can go too. He showed a lot of his diversity in that match, and it was done really, really well. And yeah, he put Speedball to his limits and beat him. It was a really good match.
Nick Nemeth being Dolph Ziggler from the WWE phase, in case you don't know.
Yeah. And then there was
Shayna Baszler wrestled too.
Yeah, right? Shayna came out. Shayna wrestled Misha Slamovich from TNA. And man, those two put on to me, which was the best match of the card, and hard hitting, very entertaining, very awesome. Shayna is someone who I think is. I hate saying misused because it's not my place to say how someone should be used, but she should be doing a lot more. I mean, when she was in NXT and the women's champion, she was unbeatable, and she's kind of an afterthought on the main roster, and I don't think that's right because Shayna is pure talent. Shayna is amazing. But she showed how versatile she is in this match. Very awesome. It was an absolute amazing match though. Shayna shows her, like I said, her versatility, how good she is, and Misha Slamovich. God, that's a horrible name. It's so it's so 1980s Russian. It's stupid, but she's awesome, and it was an awesome match, very awesome match. Also, we had Dempsey show up, make an appearance. Who is William Regal's son? Also another end. It's crazy how much WWE talent was on this. But I liken it to the fact that it's Josh Barnett. Josh Barnett is still really good with the UFC and TKO, who own the WWE now. So I think that's where the permission would come from. So.
Yeah, and there was also some TNA talent there. Some of them were coaching with, because I know Jordan Grace.
Grace was there with Slamovich.
Yeah.
I mean, you had Speedball there, Slamovich is, there's Nick Nemeth is TNA, so it was you had a lot of, and then I'm trying to remember who else was there. Oh, Johnny Bloodsport, who's AEW, so that's the one thing is like when you get around something like WrestleMania or these big pay-per-views. The independent companies put on these shows that you get talent all over the place. So
because they want to show that they're WrestleMania worthy, and that there's an alternative to watching WrestleMania, and that these guys are just as good.
I watched NXT Stand and Deliver, which was amazing. And I
I didn't watch that one. There was a lot of wrestling this weekend, and I got wrestled out.
yeah.
So I watched. I don't watch a lot of what Richard got to watch.
So once again, we're just going to highlight. We're not going to go over every single match, but the ones that really stand out. The women's match was awesome. Lyra Valkyrie and Valkyra and Roxanne Perez was an amazing match. Roxanne winning the women's championship again. Like, Roxanne is an amazing wrestler, especially a very, very good young talent. She used to be Roxy in ROH. She was a champion in NXT before being injured and was on the shelf for a little while. Came back and now she has this new attitude, little hillish, very, very cool, very good match. Definitely worth the watch. The whole event is, honestly, I actually liked it better than day one of WrestleMania.
There's a lot of times back in the day where when I was watching NXT more than I was watching WWE, was because that's when like we had United
Undisputed
Empire, and a bunch of all the WWE guys that you see now back in NXT, and NXT would continuously outshine WrestleMania. Even the regular pay-per-views, NXT would just be better than any of the WWE pay-per-views, and but then I stopped watching, so I don't know if it's like that anymore. But
it's amazing. It really is. There's a lot of really good talent in there, and a lot of them now are starting to go up. Actually, we'll probably see tonight. Actually, probably happening as we speak. NXT talent being called up on Raw. Braun Breaker's already up. Carmelo Hayes has already been called up. Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin are a very good tag team. They actually found some... Baron Corbin is very underappreciated. And they finally found something for him to do. Him and Braun Breaker are making this tag team, the Wolf Dogs or whatever, which is intentionally stupid name. But they are really good together. They defended their NXT titles. Everybody thought they were going to lose them. Kept the titles. Awesome match.
Let's be honest. Braun Breaker's phenomenal.
Braun Breaker is phenomenal and a generational talent.
He is.
But Baron Corbin is very good and just doesn't get appreciated much.
True.
So
they can't find a good gimmick for Baron.
They finally did, and he's doing very well. I don't know if he's going to stick in NXT with Breaker up there, but I think maybe they're going to bounce back and forth for now. I don't know.
I saw a couple of highlights on the match where Braun is moving the ring by going back, going.
Oh yeah, just hitting the ropes.
Hitting the ropes, and he moved the ring. That's how into it he was, and that's a pretty mean feat right there.
Yeah. It was an awesome match. They kept their titles. It was it's something. It's something to see. And Braun, like I said, I think he's already been called up. I think he is on SmackDown. I think that's where they put him. I can't remember. But he's gonna be. Like now that I forgot this in the last time that we talked wrestling. They're moving SmackDown to the CW once their contract with Fox comes up. So I think Braun, if he's on SmackDown, will be someone that is really shown because they're going to try to bring in a younger audience being on. I mean, that's network television. That's not even cable. I mean, I know Fox is, but the CW tends to try to go for younger audiences. So, I don't know. I'm curious.
That's another show.
Yeah.
How did Sean Spears do?
I don't even remember Spears.
He was in the opening match.
You know what? I think I missed the opening match. Well, Sean Spears is always good. Sean Spears is an amazing wrestler. So, wait, no, he wrestled Gacy. That's right. Yeah, no, that was actually a very they're telling a really good story. I totally forgot about it. It's so
How
much
can you
wrestling.
not pronounce Josh Briggs?
No, I wasn't talking about Briggs. Briggs wasn't the champion.
Oba Femi.
That's the one.
Versus Josh Briggs versus Dijak.
No, it was Femi the one I couldn't pronounce. It's Oba. I don't think
Oba.
that's how. I don't think that's how they pronounce his name. But if that's what it's annoying. Give them names that are easy to pronounce.
So Todd.
Josh Briggs. Yeah, really. And Josh Briggs is being misused. So is Dijak. But anyway. all three of them being, it was a waste of talent, is what that match was, and why I didn't really want to talk about it. But anyway, yeah, no, Gacy, I totally forgot. Gacy and Sean Spears are telling an amazing story, and it was. I'm curious to see how much further it goes. And then,
yeah, Lyra Valkyrie and Roxanne Perez.
Right.
Roxy won. And
it's like Carrie. See these names, I'm telling you.
Ilja Dragunov and Tony D'Angelo.
Okay, so D'Angelo and Ilya Dragunov. Neither one of those talents, I believe, is going to stay in NXT long. Those guys, Dragunov, number one, he's just like a smaller version of Gunther. It's exactly what he is. The guy's hard hitting. He's amazing. He's a freaking, and D'Angelo, like, for as stereotypical as his character is, the little Italian mob boss thing, he pulls it off well. Even in this day and age, when that's like, you know, in a woke culture, he pulls it off. He's very Tony Soprano-ish, but and a really good talent. Awesome match, very hard hitting. Anytime you get Dragunov in a match, it's gonna be hard hitting. Dragunov tries to knee everybody's head off.
I love Dragunov. He's phenomenal.
Yeah. And I foresee both of those talents being called up very soon.
And that was it. That was the
yeah. And then Trick and Carmelo.
Carmelo, yeah.
Trick and Carmelo. I mean, it was Trick and Carmelo. Anytime Trick and Carmelo wrestle, it's amazing. Trick Williams is, for as great as and Carmelo Hayes has been for 2 years, like the standout star of NXT. But Trick was kind of low key, just coming up. And Trick, to finally get his due, and I believe he is from Philadelphia. The crowd was just going wild for Trick. And Trick to pull out that win versus Carmelo, like, it was an amazing match. Trick showing that he is probably very soon will be the NXT champion. Like, him and Dragunov could put on a clinic. I think they've wrestled once before, and it was an amazing match. So I'm hoping to see that soon. Every time Carmelo Hayes and Dragunov put on a match, it's amazing. I'm waiting to see Carmelo on the main roster. I guess you don't call it the main roster anymore, but for the call up,
it's still AAA versus
I mean
majors.
I mean Carmelo's gonna shine. As long as now that Triple H is the one in charge, I mean, I feel these people are going to be used the same as they were. So, it was an amazing PLE, I guess. Definitely worth the watch. If you have Peacock, check it out. 100%.
Now we get to move on to WrestleMania.
And I'm just tired talking about this. And I watched all this stuff.
so
Because this happened for me at 9 a.m. on Saturday.
Right. And then to continue the flow, we went straight into kickoff and then WrestleMania.
Right.
Now, a 4-hour and 7-minute WrestleMania.
There were some amazing matches. Night one was... Man, I got to separate the 2 days.
The first match, wasn't the first match Becky Lynch?
Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley. That was the first match, yes. Which, awesome match. Becky and Rhea tore the house down. Hard-hitting match. Very, very, like, awesome. Like, they both killed it. They both did amazing.
Okay, first off, is it me, or did Rhea Ripley look like Chris Motion from Motionless in White?
She said for years that she got a lot of inspiration.
I know, but when they were together, I was like, are you twinsies?
Yeah, no, she's even posted on her Instagram before, like, yeah.
It was weird.
She got a lot of her style from it. She's a huge fan, obviously.
Right.
I mean, got a lot of her style, the way she dressed and the way her character evolved. Remember, she used to have long blonde hair.
Right.
And all that.
No, I remember.
She used to look like Charlotte. But she got a lot of it from him. So, yeah, I guess, yeah. Which her introduction was freaking amazing. It was awesome.
Yeah, she came out to Motionless in White playing live.
Yeah.
Anytime you get the live bands playing, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Motionless in White, so I, of course, geeked out during the whole thing.
I don't know who they are.
And then I started seeing how similar they looked, and then I got weirded out.
I only know who they are because of Rhea.
Well, if you've ever ridden in my truck, you've heard their songs.
I
may not be able to acknowledge them.
I'm sure I've heard their music. I just don't.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't register in my brain automatically. But the match was stellar. It was amazing.
Considering how Becky had the flu.
Yeah. Well, they say she had like 104-degree fever.
Yeah, the entire time leading up, she had a big bruise on her face. You can tell she was not feeling 100%.
Yeah, it was.
And when she came down to the ring, she was stoic and, she just wasn't her usual animated self. And I don't know if that's her interest lately. I stopped watching WWE.
No, she's been. Yeah, she's usually pretty animated. It was hard hitting, very, very like. It was very. I mean, you were questioning if Becky was going to win. Like she could have won at any moment. Like it was the match was everything it should have been. It was awesome. So and then Rhea, of course, pulling out the victory, staying the women's champion. There's a lot of room. Like there's Rhea being the face of the women's division is something that. I mean, of that women's division. See, they do the brand split right. I wish they would stop the jumping show to show with the break in the bloodline or whatever's going on with that storyline. It not being, I don't think will be so predominant. I guess we're jumping the gun there, but maybe we'll have a lot less of it. So hopefully,
maybe
I like the hard boundaries of the brand split and then bring them together for certain PLEs. Like I like bring them together I like when they brought them together for Survivor Series, especially that year when you had SmackDown versus Raw versus NXT. I thought that was an amazing idea.
That one was fun.
If they continue to do stuff like that, it would be great. But the brand split with like people that are free agents that jump here and there, I just think it's a bit much. All right, so the next match would be the 6-pack ladder match.
Woo-hoo.
That match was, I'm not a big fan of multi-team matches, especially ladder matches. It's a lot going on at once, and it's kind of hard to see everything. But this match had some amazing spots in it, and some pretty hilarious spots. R-Truth going for a pin, R-Truth making a hot tag, awesome.
R-Truth being R-Truth?
Yeah, as well as some very, very just brutal ladder spots. Pete Dunne took an amazing DDT off the ring apron through a table, and just stuck it. Man, he was speared down. It looked pretty vicious.
The contestants were Judgment Day, consisting of Finn Balor
and Damian Priest,
and
then you had
DIY. The New Day,
Regeneration X, who came out dressed like TX.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
The New Day, who came out dressed like Apollo Creed and Rocky.
Yeah.
Awesome Truth, and A-Town Down Under. I don't know who that is.
That's Austin Theory and Grayson Waller.
Okay, the New Catch Republic,
which is Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne.
I
don't know why they didn't call him British Strong Style. I guess because they own the rights to that.
Did you have a favorite going into this match?
I like all the teams. Truthfully, I'm glad they're finally doing something.
Don't you mean R-Truthfully?
Yes, I'm glad they're finally doing something with Theory and Grayson Waller. Just Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. Austin Theory is an amazing wrestler. And really, really, just he's a prodigy. He is like if you were to draw a professional wrestler, what a pro wrestler nowadays should look like, it's Austin Theory. Grayson Waller is someone who knows how to push every button. Like he's so good at pissing people off, and like them together is just they're really good. And not to mention that Grayson Waller is actually very underappreciated in the ring. He's actually pretty damn good. But he's such a good character. He's such a good antagonist that I just don't think he gets his due. But they're really good. I'm a big fan. Like the team I really was pushing for in this ladder match though was Awesome Truth. R-Truth just deserves it. Like he's just doing so good. And the Miz as a babyface, like whoever thought the Miz is a good guy is just such a just foreign concept.
Now the stipulations of the match were different than what you would normally see. What
Right.
they had both sets of the belts, both the Raw belts and the SmackDown belts hanging up above the ring, and a tag team would have to go up and get either both or just one or the other belt.
Well, they had to get both of them. So if you get both of
what I mean is both
the
Raw or
So a team could win Raw and a team could win SmackDown.
Right, or you can get both sets and become undisputed.
Right.
And so we saw the A-Town Down Under.
Yeah.
They went ahead and they got the SmackDown titles.
Correct.
And then we had...
And then Grayson Waller was put through a ladder in a horrible way, man. Ooh.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
But he held on to the belt.
Yeah.
And then we saw Awesome Truth win the Raw belt.
Yeah, and that was very, very cool. It was an awesome moment.
Awesome.
Exactly. It was a great moment for Truth, especially for him to get a WrestleMania moment. Truth is another talent that's like, man. So a lot of people don't know exactly how good Truth is because, I mean, the guy's just enjoying life now. He enjoys what he's doing, and he's kind of I won't really call him a bit player, but like, I mean, he's not looking to be a main eventer at this stage in his life or in his career, but he deserved a WrestleMania moment, and I think it was really cool. And like just his character alone, the stuff that he did with Judgment Day and everything, like it was like R-Truth he's a standout just performer for the WWE.
Now, how long do you think they'll hold on to the titles?
I don't see them holding them very long. Truthfully, I think it's just going to be something.
Truthfully.
Yes, I think they'll hold them maybe until the next pay-per-view. I hope they get a nice little run out of it, but there's so many up and coming teams, and I think both Truth and The Miz have multiple projects going on besides wrestling, so I just see them holding them for a short time. But anyway, any amount of time that they hold it's going to be entertaining. So
I agree. Though it's not enough to get me to watch WWE. Moving on, the next match was the Mysterios, Rey Mysterio and Andrade versus Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio. I want to see Andrade in his own match. I loved Andrade and Andrade El Idolo from AEW. And what he was doing there, and
I loved Andrade in NXT.
How ruthless he was in AEW. I loved how ruthless he was in NXT. Seeing him in the tag team again, I don't watch WWE, so I don't know how he's been on TV.
It was okay, so
lately, but this seemed like
it was a a fluff match.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It seemed
like I would have loved to see Andrade versus Santos Escobar because those two can go. Those two men, I think, would kill it against each other. But they had to get these factions in, and like there was so many people at the ringside, and then you got the two Eagles involved, and it was just it was a lot of people. But it's WrestleMania, so I mean,
right.
it was fun. It was a fun match. I really enjoyed it, but I want to see Escobar and Andrade go because I think those guys would just kill it.
It made no sense. We had Kelsey and Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson from the Philadelphia Eagles show up toward the end of the match and do a run-in to help. I think
Mysterio.
They were both Mysterios. Andrade and Rey Mysterio win the match. And it made no sense to me as to, again, I don't watch WWE, but it made no sense in the story as to why these two would just randomly run in.
Because
as a plug, as a celebrity plug.
Well, also because after the Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl, who Jason Kelsey's brother, Travis Kelsey, plays for the Kansas City Chiefs, Jason was filmed wearing a Rey Mysterio mask, drunk, partying. I that's pretty much why. Okay. And it was all over the internet. And it was just, it's celebrity plugs. It's WrestleMania.
Right.
It's Philadelphia. And it's something, and they were playing on the Eagles field. So it was just, or they were wrestling.
It just felt like, dude, we got 8 hours to fill. Let's throw this in.
Yeah. But I mean, it was an entertaining match. Anything with Dominic is always going to, that kid is just amazing. Like he has come into his own very, very, very quickly. I am impressed every time I see him. So I mean, that part is just, there was just so much cluster though. There were so many people involved, but I get it. Happening. I get it. It was WrestleMania. I really hope this will go further with Andrade and Santos, because I think that there's a lot of potential in that feud. Those two are just amazing. So.
Next, we had the Uso brothers going after each other with an intro by Lil Wayne.
Can we just skip that part?
I agree. Moving on.
We can go on to the match, but can we just skip the intro? And the crazy thing is, I'm a fan of Lil Wayne. I think the guy's extremely talented. He's probably one of the best rappers of his generation. That was not a good performance. That was. Yeah, he wasn't. He didn't perform. He really didn't do anything. He was just buzzwording it the whole way. Yeah. And the match, I love the Usos, and I was waiting for this match, and I was disappointed.
I've seen it before.
I was disappointed. It was just a super kick fest. I don't know. I thought it had potential to be a lot more than it was. And I just don't think they were given enough time. And it's crazy because they had said they wanted one match. They've never wrestled each other one-on-one like that. It's always been tag teams or other people involved. They wanted to have one match against each other in their career. And they wanted it to happen at WrestleMania. And if it ends up that's it was kind of disappointing.
Yeah, a waste of time. Honestly. That felt more filler to me than the other match before it. And I don't know, most of it happened on the. It just wasn't interesting to me. So
yeah, it had a lot more potential, and it could have been a lot more. They're both amazing talents, and it could have gotten a lot further. I just don't think they were given enough time, which is weird for PLE. I just don't understand how they didn't. They could have done so much better.
I'm online reading through the card. That's also helping us remind it. And the person who I'm reading the card from gave it a C grade. And I would have to agree with it.
Yeah, it was average. I mean, it wasn't horrible. It was just, it wasn't...
It was something.
It wasn't what it had potential to be.
Next up, we had, I don't know, I was kind of excited for this match, but I was kind of not at the same time. And that was Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Jade Cargill versus Damage Control. Hi, Dakota.
I wasn't excited for this match. I had no interest in this match whatsoever. I was impressed by this match. I love Damage Control. Every member of Damage Control, I am a huge fan of. I love Bianca Belair. I love Trinity, or Naomi. Yeah.
I got to see Jade Cargill coming up in AEW and stuff. And I don't care what anybody else has to say. AEW didn't misuse her. AEW used her as well as they could, considering how little talent she had.
It's not a lack of talent. Jade Cargill
is all muscle and all show.
No, Jade Cargill has all the potential in the world. The problem is Jade Cargill has been wrestling for about 2 years.
Right.
That's it. It's right. Just it's time. It's lack of performing in a ring in front of fans. It's like you can be in a performance center, or you could be in training in a ring, and performing in front of a live crowd is 100%. Not that she's not good. She has all the potential. She will be, and give her 5 years, she will be the biggest name in professional wrestling, I believe.
And that's the problem with her, is that she even stated in an interview where she left, she claims that she left AEW because she's 31 years old and she wanted to have a career before it gets too late for her to have a career. Well, sure, absolutely. But where were you in your 20s when you could have been making this a career?
She was
busy at the gym working out.
Well, she's a fitness model. That's why
Right.
she wrestles for fun. She doesn't need the money. She's well off. She never coming into wrestling. She never needed to do it.
So now she's doing this, and it feels like they're rushing her into the spotlight. They're rushing her. They rushed her into the Royal Rumble.
I think they're taking their time as much as possible. I think she will show up sporadically. If they do it right, she will show up sporadically for now. We won't see her weekly. We'll see her a couple times a month. But she doesn't need work. She just needs ring time. Anybody with that little time in the ring needs ring time. And then hasn't been. I mean, she's been performing at the Performance Center, and been training. She trains with Natalia and with Tyson. But once again, performing in front of a live crowd it's a different monster. She did really good in this match. She did what she needed to do. But
for the 5 moves she put on,
Bianca stole the show like she always does. The woman is a superstar. I want to see a long program between Bianca and Rhea. I need to see that. Bianca and Rhea are the measuring stick for the women's division. At least for the, what are they on, Raw? SmackDown, whatever show they are the measuring stick for that division, and I don't know if they're on opposite shows or not, but they need to be on the same show. I want to see that just because they're both two extremely athletic, powerful women. I think it will rival any men's match. That could be headlining a WrestleMania easily.
But I feel like they're grooming Jade to just take on Nia Jax, and that's it. She's there to just take on the big girls. Which there's nothing wrong with, but I want to see her do more.
Well, you know what? Honestly, we'll get on this. I was a huge critic of Nia Jax. Since she's come back, she's done amazing. She has taken her time. She's learned. That's another person. I thought she was pushed a little too fast. I kept saying all the potential in the world. She needs more ring time. She's come back. She's been training. She had been and she looks great. She's doing good.
She's not rushing anymore.
Yeah.
She's not making mistakes. Anything
right.
Like that.
So I just need to. Like I said, I didn't have the biggest expectations for this match, but it surprised me, and I was really entertained by it. And for I'm not a big 6-pack challenges, six person matches. It's a lot. There's so much going on, especially on that scale. You don't get to see all the action.
A lot of moving
That's
parts.
why I don't like it. But this match did really well, and of course, anything with the Kabuki Warriors, and Dakota Kai is awesome to me. So
the next match we have is Gunther versus Sami Zayn. 2 awesome performers in my book.
Amazing.
Some of the top A1 talents in WWE anywhere. In my opinion.
Yeah. This isn't the match that people wanted to see because everybody was sold on the Gable Gunther, which I know you don't watch WWE, so you probably missed. I'm sure you saw the PLE with that, right?
No.
Okay. Well, Gable and Gunther had this whole rivalry where it looked like Gable was going to win, and he lost in front of his kid, and his kid was crying, and Gunther called out. Was pointing calling him a bad father, and bringing it out, and so the crowd was really behind Gable, wanting Gable to get this, and they had the.
Did Christian show up?
it was on that. it was up there, but then they had the challenge where to make the number 1 contender for the match. Everybody, and it ended up with Sammy versus Gable, and a lot of people were disappointed in the fact that Sammy beat him, and I got a feeling where it was going to go already. And Sammy's somebody that everybody wanted, a year ago, wanted him to win the world title. And now you don't want him to win the Intercontinental title? That seems a little... Yeah. But I get it, because everybody was behind the Gunther story, or the Gable story. But then they had this thing going where...
I saw the training footage and stuff.
Right,
where he went to Gable, and Gable just put him through the paces and stuff.
And as soon as I thought, and in my head, I was like, oh, I bet. And it's just instinctually, I thought, I don't know why, maybe it's the movie lover in me. I automatically thought Rocky 3.
Right. After you fight him, you win, we're going to have our match.
Which is pretty much the way it went. You had Gable saying, "Hey, you can't beat Gunther. You can't beat him on your own." And then they did the training montages, like, and he told him, he's like, "Sammy, like, you're not putting yourself into this. You're not, like, what is it? Like, what's your problem?" And that's when Sammy busted, "I'm afraid," which is exactly what Rocky said to Apollo.
Right.
So then you had that, and then you got it going, and then when Sammy goes to walk to the ring, he's like telling Gable's like, "You got this." And he's like, "You're not going with me?" He's like, "You got this." He's like, "You've always had it." Very, very Rocky 3. And of course, they have an amazing match like this.
Beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah, they beat the tar off each other. This match stole the show, 100%. I thought it was going to be the best match of the weekend, and I was not disappointed at all. This was everything I was hoping for.
Yeah, Sami Zayn came away with the win. Great. I love the fact that we saw Kevin Owens waiting there.
Yeah.
And he's like, go out, get it, and encouraging him. And then when we went out and Kevin Owens came out, gave him a hug afterwards. Like, all that stuff leading up to it was just phenomenal. Great build-up, great storytelling again. Like I said, I appreciate good storytelling in the ring. Everything about it was phenomenal.
And it ended with Gable telling him, "Remember, you owe me one."
Right.
Right out of Rocky 3.
Rocky. All they needed, well, he was German as opposed to Russian, but still the same.
Well, that's 4, not 3.
Well, whatever. Gable's got to die the next time they meet.
That would make him being, he would have been Clubber Lang. So.
Right.
But yeah, so I thought from the beginning, and a lot of people were saying, I'm like, it just had that Rocky 3 feel to me, and it still does. So I'm wondering if we're gonna get a turn for Gable, a bad guy Gable versus Sami Zayn, which I think is going to be amazing if they do.
I don't think that you necessarily have to have a turn, though.
You don't have to.
Just paying back the favor,
You don't have to, but
it would add to a storyline.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can get a long storyline out of this. So.
And then the final match of the night, which I was not impressed by. This is just my opinion, but Rhodes and Rollins versus The Rock and Roman Reigns.
I had little to no interest in this match. All right.
I still don't have any interest.
I am a fan of The Rock. I am a fan of every performer in this match. I have always been the biggest proponent of Seth Rollins. And have been one of the biggest criticizers of Roman Reigns. If you ever you can look at the past panel cast, old WrestleManias, of me talking about how much I did not like Roman. Roman came into his own and he earned every bit of the accolades that he gets. But this match to me was just, it made no sense. I don't understand. You're going into the biggest match of your career, supposedly, with Roman and Cody. Why would you want to wrestle the night before? Seth, you're already injured. You're having back problems. You're having knee problems. And you're fighting a monster. Why would you want to wrestle 2 monsters the night before? So that part of the storyline just didn't make sense to me. And then you're fighting for the rules. Like, if it's either the bloodline's banned from ringside or bloodline rules. Well, it doesn't make any sense for it not to be bloodline rules. So everybody already knew that The Rock and Roman were going to win. Although I didn't think they were going to win with Cody being the one getting pinned. I was shocked by that. But other than that,
I wasn't. I knew that he had to go down to humble. I knew he had to hit rock bottom.
That's exactly what he did. And a people's elbow.
Right. I knew he had to hit that in order for him to come up the next day. I knew that was going to be the motivation, the nail in the coffin, if you will, to motivate him to win the next day. If he was going to win the next day.
Right.
We don't know yet. We're still on day 1.
Everybody knows. It was what it was. It was an entertaining match. It was the Rock show.
It was like 45 minutes of entrances. All 4 of them had to have their own entrances.
It was the Rock show. It was there to yeah. It was, and it showed how dominating Roman is, and we got to see Seth's talent. Seth is amazing, and it was everything I thought it would be. that's pretty much. I mean, I won't say I was disappointed. I was entertained by it, but I mean, I wasn't shocked by any of it. So
I didn't enjoy it at all. I just felt like it was filler. I felt like there was no point to it. It would have been, for me, a better experience if it came on, like if it was at the beginning of the pay-per-view and then Cody came back to fight at the end of the pay-per-view.
See, I think
to those rules, but to have it separated into night, it was just.
Well, I mean, for as hard, I mean, they went pretty hard in that match. They couldn't have went 2 days in a row. Like they couldn't have went back to back in that. Like they couldn't have done that in one day. Honestly, they all looked like a little worn to begin with. Like the next day, Seth went through it, man. So that would end night 1.
That would end night 1. Night 2. What did night 2 begin with?
The Slammies.
I didn't watch the Slammies.
It was there was a lot of problems with it. Obviously, it was filmed live. It was done. There was some technical issues. There was the best part of the Slammies was R-Truth. R-Truth just was hilarious. That's honestly the only thing worth watching. So, other than that, I mean, and it was on at like freaking 7:30 in the morning. So, R-Truth was the only thing worth it on this. I mean, the host did fine and everything. I mean, it was what it was. It just there were some technical issues with showing the video packages and stuff like that because it was the way they filmed it live in
Philadelphia.
Yeah, at a like where they do the conventions or whatever. Like where they did the WWE World. So so I mean, it was. I mean, the Slammies are. I don't think I've ever been impressed by any of the Slammies. So, it was. It had its moments that were kind of funny, but other than that, it was kind of a waste of time.
I don't bother with the Slammies. I never bothered with the Slammies. They just didn't do anything for me. Moving on. So night 2 begins with what had to be my favorite ending to a match in a very long time. And that was Drew McIntyre with Seth Rollins.
The match did what it was supposed to do. It shows Seth's talent, and it made Drew look like a monster. But it also showed that Drew was way too preoccupied with Punk.
Let's just go through it. Let's just talk about that real quick. So at the end of the match, we saw. Well, first off, at the beginning of the match, the first move right out the gate,
right off,
was the Claymore.
Yeah, just and he nailed him, man.
He got him.
I so thought it was done.
I thought right then and there they were just gonna mercy kill it right there, like, and no, he kicked up. There were so many Claymores thrown throughout that match that I'm surprised Seth Rollins still has his hair. I thought he would have kicked the blonde out of his hair.
Here's an issue that I have. When so many finishers are done, and guys continually kick out of them. It takes away the devastation of it. He should have. If you're doing that, if you're nailing with that many Claymores, nail him, have him roll out of the ring, have it go 1-2, put his foot on the rope or something like that.
Right. Don't
have him straight kick out that many times because it takes all the devastation of it away. In my opinion,
you're taking the power away.
Right
at that point.
I mean,
the whole point of the finishing move is to be the finishing move, and when you're kicking out of a finishing move, it no longer becomes a finishing move.
And this match was everything it was supposed to be. It was hard hitting. It was. You really didn't know who was going to win. There's parts where Seth was. I mean, Drew looked like a monster. Drew was beating the crap out of him, but then Seth was pulling it out. You know, he'd nail super kicks out of nowhere. Nailed a couple curb stomps. You know, nailed him with the pedigree. But you know, Drew hit him with another Claymore, and you know, the final Claymore out of like I think it was 150, and won the title.
And then,
well, before that, I'd like to bring up like you saw they showed it when Seth rolled out. He had tears in his eyes.
Yeah,
he was breaking down. He was crying. And even Triple H said, you know, how do you get leather and metal and make it become where men want to fight for it and make it important? He's like, you give it to Seth freaking Rollins. And Seth has made that title, for as young as it is, mean something. Right. And it obviously meant something. He was welled up. He was here. Seth has been going through it. Like, Seth is injured. Seth needs time off. Seth needs time off, and I'm sure he's going to get it now.
And at the end of the last match of the night, you saw it.
Yeah.
How bad that man's hurt bad.
Yeah. So he had tears in his eyes, and he did tell Drew, like, he's coming back for it. So then you had Drew celebrating, and basically
a little too much.
Yeah, rub it in Punk's face,
Too much.
and Punk finally had enough.
So Drew gets up on the announcer's table and he squats down in front of CM Punk, who's a guest commentating at the time, and he's like showing off the belt.
By the way,
like,
dressed to the nines, man.
Yeah,
Punk in a suit.
And he's like, blah blah blah. This is mine. So what does Punk do? He pulls the legs out from underneath Drew, takes off his brace that he has wrapped around his arm, pummels Drew with it, and then continues to do a couple other moves. And Drew's on the floor, pretty much knocked out. Next thing you know, out of nowhere comes Damian Priest. And what does he do? He cashes in his Money in the Bank, throws Drew in the ring, does one of the best choke slams I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah, South of Heaven just nails it, man.
Just,
and Drew stole it great. Yeah.
I mean, he had him one arm in the air for a minute. Like, he held him up there to show that he was doing this for real. Slams him down, covers him, and your new champion is no longer Drew McIntyre, but now Damian Priest. And
you know what? I'm gonna say this. I have when Damian first signed with the WWE, when he was coming, I heard like he left Ring of Honor back when he was Punishment Martinez. I was not the biggest fan of him. I did not think he had any personality. His moves were very stiff, very mechanical. I was not a fan of Punishment Martinez at all.
He was in Los Ingobernables.
No. He was this real weird goth thing. I don't know. He was.
I saw him in New Japan a few times and ROH wrestle. And other than his size and his voice, he wasn't really that impressive. He's okay.
He's just a big guy, but he wasn't impressive. I did not like his work. He didn't have a personality in me. So when he signed with NXT, I was like, When he first was there, I wasn't impressed. When he became the North American champion, I was okay. He's starting to find himself. All right. This whole Judgment Day run, I'm like, okay. Ever since the whole Judgment Day started, though, I've been impressed by him. He is. He has worked his ass off and has become one of the best performers on the show. So he has earned that world title, and I am truly impressed by it.
I'm excited actually to see what he does with it. Again, that would require me watching WWE, but I might, because I'm excited to see what he does with it.
Yeah. So that was awesome, and then the Judgment Day coming out and celebrating on the ramp with him was really cool.
And all the videos after, man, just get on TikTok and you'll see how hard they were. He was at the club that night.
Yeah, that is one of the that's up there with Seth cashing in on Roman and Brock. Yeah. So that was awesome.
Next up, we had the Philadelphia Street Fight with Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits against the Final Testament, Karrion Kross, Akam, and Razor, with special guest referee
was Bubba Ray. Fluff.
The ending of the match was highly entertaining and kind of cool to see. But
yes, it was entertaining. I am a huge fan of Karrion Kross. I am a huge fan of the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley. Arkham and Razor need more time, but they're also they have all the potential in the world. I like all these people. It was just too much. It was an
eye candy match where they got to use at one point. Damian Cross, what was it?
Karrion Kross?
Karrion Kross, thank you. I'm getting all these wrestlers confused. See how much wrestling we watch this week? We have to get all the names, assigned. Anyway, so Karrion Kross is sitting there, and he's giving Bubba Ray Dudley, like, a dirty look, and then at some point, Bubba Ray puts on the glasses and becomes, the Triple D guy, and one of the Dudley boys, and then they end the match with doing like the what's up headbutts. They do the get the tables gimmick. They do all the Dudley Boys homages that they possibly could, and then that's how the Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits end up defeating Karrion Kross and AOE.
It's just I would have liked to seen number one. First of all, I would have liked to seen the Street Profits in the tag team title match. First of all, like I don't know why they're not in the title hunt. That's where they need to be. Bobby Lashley, I think, has been just wasted. Wasted is the best way to say it.
Ever since they got rid of his faction.
Yeah, the Hurt Business was amazing, and they've been trying to he's been kind of just wading water since. Like Bobby Lashley should be vying for a world title, either one of them. And I just think it's wasted talent. Same with Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross hasn't been able to find his feet since coming back, and it's really, really disappointing because when Triple H was in charge of him when he was in NXT, it was amazing. And I just don't think that character's found its feet yet, which is sad.
Feels like once they changed his costume and put that costume on him, he lost his heart.
Well, I mean, and then he was fired. When he was fired. Coming back, it's just I don't think they've found a way to recover from that.
Yeah.
So,
the next match we had was LA Knight and AJ Styles, starting off with the Slim Jim car giveaway. Yeah. That's all I got from that match. Yeah.
Fluff. It was. I get it. I get what they're trying to do. But LA Knight should have been going for the U.S. title. And I understand you're trying to find something for AJ. I'd have had AJ in a feud with Randy Orton, but that's just me speaking. I mean, it's a good match. It was an entertaining match. It wasn't anything bad. I just think they could have been doing a lot more. So, but I mean, when you're putting on a show this big, it's kind of hard to.
Yeah, AJ Styles is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. One of them.
Yeah. And damn, that guy is jacked.
Right. I
wow.
mean, he got... Anyway. And it's not because my name is also AJ. It is. Totally is. And so I can buy all the shirts and be like, no, it's me. But this was just...
Buy the old school... Never mind, I can't bring that up. This is a family-friendly show.
Right.
But if you look up at his old TNA shirt, you'll know what I mean.
He is just a waste of time in this match. It was just...
It just, they tried it.
I didn't care.
They tried to put a story behind it but it just...
I mean, I've seen the same stories in a lot of different shows.
It was very afterthought story.
And I've seen the same story in past WWE shows.
Well,
guy breaks in the house.
It was,
drama.
It was the old Pillman and Austin story.
And all that was going on was just that he just had to give away the Slim Jim car. He was just there to promote Slim Jims. Which, I mean, it was the same thing that we saw in the next match coming up. Logan Paul versus Orton versus Kevin Owens. This is my first Logan Paul experience. And anyway, so Bayley and Io Sky.
It was a decent match. It was what it was. It was... Logan Paul is...
I give all the respect in the world for Logan Paul.
Logan Paul's good.
He stepped up. He's done a lot more for celebrity wrestling than
and he takes that title everywhere. So
right, and he's serious about it.
Yeah,
he's at the performance center. He's at the gym. He's doing everything he can to bring a distinct honor to that title, and I respect that wholeheartedly. But this match, it was not a good example.
And they had the guy in there. I guess he's a popular YouTuber or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know who he was.
High Show Speed. That's his name.
Yeah, okay. Sure. I don't know who he is, but it seemed like if you're gonna do that, it should have just been a one-on-one match. I don't understand. Right. I don't understand why Kevin was in there or why Randy was in there. It should have just been Kevin and Logan. That's what the whole story was to begin with. It should have been Orton and AJ. It should have been freaking LA Knight or LA Knight and Logan, and then Kevin. I don't know. Poor Kevin.
And I really felt bad because I thought when Kevin Owens was coming out for the match, you saw Sami Zayn sitting there, doing the same thing that Kevin Owens did the day before. Like, I got mine, now go get yours. And I thought we were going to see him get his, but instead,
I don't think most people knew. You got SummerSlam happening in Cleveland, at Cleveland Stadium. So
And Cleveland rocks.
yeah, well, I mean that's Logan Paul's hometown, and he's gonna make sure it's a spectacle. So he's got to have that title for that.
I'm sure he does. Next up was Bailey and Io Sky. That was a good match. I like Bailey.
Amazing. I love Bailey.
Well, I mean,
Bailey. Like I said,
Bailey was part of the original Four Horsewomen, in my opinion. Sasha Banks, Bailey, Charlotte Flair, and
Becky Lynch.
Look, I can't even do this. Becky Lynch. And they were the Four Horsewomen of wrestling, and I had hoped at some point we would see them faction up and go through and just destroy women's wrestling in WWE. We didn't get that. They all went their own path, and they all did a great job doing so. And Bailey here just proved it, nailed it.
Oh man, that match was amazing. Bailey earned every bit of this. She got a WrestleMania moment, her first one-on-one match at WrestleMania, winning the title. She won the Royal Rumble.
Good story.
Triple H is a huge proponent of Bailey's, so I'm hoping we get to see Bailey reach her full potential, because she is one of the most talented wrestlers, one of the most talented performers on the roster. Not even women, just in general, one of the most talented performers on the roster. So it was an amazing match, and and boy did Bailey sell that leg, man. It was they put on a clinic. It was awesome.
Yeah, like I said,
actually probably my favorite match of the night.
When it comes to good wrestling for me, I like a good story. I want to see the good story in the ring, told in the match, not just the story you hear. Oh, once upon a time we were good. No, I mean like the storytelling, telling in the match of the injuries and everything that's happening. And Bailey is a great storyteller. Anyway, the match was fantastic. And Io Sky, I'm not taking anything away from her. That woman was phenomenal.
Yeah, Io's one of the best performers there is.
And they did a great job working off each other, feeding off each other, and putting each other over in the match. And I thought it was an awesome match.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like I said, it was my favorite match of the night.
It was at least better than the following match, which was the main event. God, if I have to hear this finish the story crap one more time. It was Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns.
It was a good match. I mean, it was entertaining. It was what a WrestleMania main event's supposed to be. It was a spectacle. It brought in, especially for WrestleMania 40th anniversary, it brought in the nostalgia. They worked their asses off. I don't know how many crossroads Cody hit, but every time
Roman rents a space in Cody's armpit at this point.
Yeah.
It's gotta be like that boxer that got the guy's bite mark tattooed on his...
The frustration though, that Solo showed after he came to help, I don't know. I think that's gonna mean something. The Jimmy and Jay going through the table was kind of cool. I think it was shot poorly though, but it was a cool spot, because it didn't make it all the way down to the ring. It didn't take up space all over the place. That's the thing about these surprise run-ins. Solo pops in. They do the bit to help the match, but they didn't nobody soaked it up too much in the ring.
Right.
They didn't take up that much.
It didn't matter.
Right. And
sure, it took one of the Russo brothers out.
Yeah.
And made it so that neither one of them could interfere, but it didn't matter.
Right. Solo stopping the first pin, after the crossroads and everything, and then Cena coming out putting Solo through the table was awesome. It was a call back to Solo just destroying John Cena. So that was cool. That was cool to see. I mean, people assumed Cena was going to be there, with the
big
truck.
Bald spot on Cena's head. That was...
The bald spot's always been there, though.
That was good to see, too. A little humbling for me.
The bald spot's always been there. That's why you had it high and tight. It was just, you couldn't see it because of the way it was faded. It was there his entire career. Don't be confused by that.
I mean, it's not Paul Heyman bad, but
but then then you had The Rock show up, and the way John Cena sold The Rock coming out, like his look of surprise and shock of The Rock was was hilarious. Like John Cena is just, and then like the Rock taking care of Cena, and then the biggest surprise because everybody thought it was going to be Austin because of when they showed on Raw, they showed a trailer and it had Austin and Cena in it, and it was lit up when the Rock was beating the crap out of Cody. But it turns out it was the Undertaker. Undertaker pops it, lights go down. Undertaker pops up out of nowhere. He was actually in the seats. Someone filmed him. But choke slams the Rock. Lights go out. Boom, they're gone. So, like I said, they didn't take up too much space, but you got the nostalgia, you got the run-ins, you got the spectacle, and then the match continued. And
but again, this is one of those matches where you see like your finishing move doesn't really matter.
Right. But I mean, I think in this though, there was interference to stop it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just kick out and kick out. Roman is notorious for kicking out of finishers though. So you can get that. But like they made it make a little bit more sense, and there was still some kickouts that were like, But if you get one kick out, I get it, And Cody had to win, so Cody won. I thought it told the story it needed to tell. Cody finished his story. Had to tell you one more time. The celebration was awesome. Everybody coming down to the ring and everything. And
the celebration told more of a story, I think, than anything else, though.
Yeah.
Because the celebration went on. Cody was there with all his family. Then you see all these people coming from the back.
Right.
And they're all there. But one of the parts that Richard missed in retelling was one of the run-ins was the Shield.
Oh, I forgot about that.
The logo came up. The Sierra Hotel, Indiaco. That came up.
I totally forgot about that.
And I was one of those people. I was like, no, Mox isn't going to show up. I know he's in town, so's MJF. Like, they're not going to show up. And boom, there's Seth Rollins in Shield gear.
Which sucks. The thing that sucked, though, and also the main reason that I forgot to even mention it, is Seth comes down, full Shield regalia, with the chair and everything, jumps in there to interfere. They didn't shoot it.
Nope.
You didn't see him until Roman nailed him.
So it was like, why were you there?
And man, but the one part, there was that part where and it another harken back, where Roman had the chair in his hand and Cody's getting up and Rollins is getting up. Rollins got his back to him and Roman just waylaid him waylaid Rollins in the back, which was exactly what he moment. Yeah, exactly how Rollins turned on him when the Shield split up. So it was a harken back, but man, Seth took a hell of a shot. Now you saw it at the end.
I brought that up because at the end, Cody's thanking everybody and he's hugging everybody and he's kissing everybody. But the one person he didn't thank or hug was Seth, because Seth was sitting in the bottom in the corner of the ring in pain. He couldn't stand up. He couldn't function.
They had to help him.
He was in so much pain he couldn't do anything. So as everybody's piling out of the ring, Seth goes to slide out and somebody's carrying him, limping out of the ring.
Kevin Owens
was. And that's when Cody saw him.
Yeah, and then leaned over and
he leaned over and he's like, yo, thank you. Shook his hand, thanked him very much. They had a tearful moment in their eyes, and he's like, I got you. And then that was it. But that moment right there got me more than anything.
I really hope Seth gets the time he needs off, and
right.
I love Seth is probably one of my favorite superstars of all times. Like, the guy is amazing. He's earned every accolade he's got, and then even some he hasn't. So and he really just puts himself on the line for it. The fact that he Cody in his celebration called out Bruce Pritchard and Triple H to thank them was pretty awesome. The fact that little Brody was in the ring celebrating with him was really cool.
-1 was there?
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, he was right next to Cody's mom.
Nice.
So that was pretty awesome. Actually, when he first came out, when he hugged his mom, Brody was there. So yeah, that was very cool.
I would have liked to. I know it was impossible. I would have liked to have seen Dustin show up as a civilian, at least to watch and show. He was in the backstage watching. I've seen the photos and stuff of him back there watching, but it would have been nice if he would have been allowed to come out and celebrate at least, or sitting next to mom and dad
Yeah.
around the ring, but we know why.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
but at least he was still there.
Contracts are contracts. I mean, there's people like Ricky Starks was there. People showed Starks up in the
Right.
in the press boxes and stuff like that. I mean, that's the thing. That's why I don't understand tribalism. If wrestlers go to other shows to support wrestlers, especially in these big moments, why do fans have to be so tribal? Like, why do you have to put down other fans just because of what they like? You know, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Wrestling's wrestling, man. Just enjoy the moment.
Honestly, it doesn't matter what it is. If you enjoy something, if it doesn't hurt anybody, and there's nothing illegal or anything about it, then it's nobody's business. Like, allow people to like what they like. Allow people to explore who they are. It's just, I love any kind. Like, I'll watch anything. If it's wrestling, I'll watch it. I'll watch any sport. I enjoy things. Like, you have to be able to expand your horizons to find out what you really enjoy.
You gotta educate yourself.
Yeah,
one way or another.
So I mean,
that's why I always make it a point. Like, I don't care what the movie is or what it's about. I won't render an opinion about it until I watch it.
Right.
Because it's unfair for me to think otherwise. Which is why I had to watch the stupid Twilight series. Because I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. But I can't say anything about it until I watch it. How am I going to judge it?
He's lying. He has a Twilight tattoo.
Shut up. It's just a half eclipse on my ass. That's all it is. But I can't make a comment about it unless I know about it. You know, it's.
I want people to just enjoy wrestling. I want people to enjoy whatever they enjoy. And that's one thing you'll never get from our podcast is judgment for what people like. And then we may say something stupid or we disagree with stuff, but that's our opinion, not telling somebody they can't have the opposite opinion. You know, like I said, there were things that I may not have fully enjoyed, but it was entertaining. You know, I wasn't the biggest fan of that 6-man match with the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley versus Karrion Kross and AOP, and I'm sure there's people out there that really liked it. That's fine. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah, I'm not. You liked WrestleMania 40? You said you.
I loved it. It's probably one of the best WrestleManias I've seen.
Yeah, I hated it.
Yeah,
I didn't like it because that for me it was a little too pomp and circumstance. It was too much show. It was just a little bit. It could have been trimmed down to one day show for me. But I appreciate everybody's efforts in the show. That's not saying I didn't like any of the wrestling or anything that they did or the talent they showed. I think the show part of it was a little too much for me.
That's what I enjoyed.
The wrestling part is what I enjoyed.
So that's what I enjoyed about it because I think the 40th anniversary of WrestleMania, it's supposed to be pomp and circumstance. If it was WrestleMania 39, I wouldn't have felt the same way.
Right.
But I think 40 has to be a spectacle, which is why I was like some of these matches were a bit much, but I understand why.
Right. Don't get me wrong. If I ever end up going to WrestleMania, I'm going to enjoy every last second of it until I see my bank account on Monday. But
I've been to 4, trust me.
But as a guy sitting at home watching this from TV, like I found myself wishing I had waited so I could fast forward through some of this stuff. You know, it's just it wasn't for me.
Yeah, I mean, you're also
some
not a huge WWE guy either.
So. Right. That's why I like the shows I do like. That's why ECW was my favorite because it's just raw stuff for me. You know, it was more blood and guts than it was, or blood guts TNA than it was anything else. That's why.
See, I was never. I mean, I enjoyed ECW, but I wasn't the biggest ECW fan. I like the old territory, so
I could watch Taz throw Bam Bam Bigelow through anything all day long. Like, he threw him through the stage. He threw him over the railing. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any problem. I do enjoy ECW. Don't get me wrong. Right. Just like I'm a big FMW guy. I'm a big Onita fan. I love the brutality of that stuff. But I was more like I'm a territory guy. Like, I like the old. That's why I have weird opinions when it comes to wrestling because I like, I love the old school. Like I said, I grew up watching, Piper versus the Guerreros or, just the old territory day stuff. Like, I mean, Flair and Dusty, the whole Horseman stuff, like back in the NWA stuff. I love that stuff, but I mean, I watch anything, any kind of wrestling, and I'll find a way to enjoy some of it.
I like factions too, to a point. When it gets too crazy, like NWO,
Factions can get overdone.
And Bullet Club, you guys are crazy. But I do like some of the old school factions. Four Horsemen, obviously being the best, the GOAT to me. But it's stuff like that I enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, it's. But I am coming around to some of this newer style. It is becoming. I was never a guy who liked comedy wrestling or even comedy in wrestling at all, and R-Truth has changed that opinion for me by far. I was never. I'll be 100% honest. When I was younger, I absolutely hated women's wrestling. During the Attitude Era, I hated women's wrestling. I could not stand women's wrestling.
It was bad. But then the Four Horsewomen came into play.
Even before then, TNA changed my opinion on women's wrestling. When TNA first started their Knockouts division, when you had Awesome Kong and Gail Kim, like that sold me on women's wrestling.
I didn't experience that kind of stuff. When I saw the Four Horsewomen coming up and I got to watch that stuff, that's what impressed me.
Yeah,
Sasha Banks and Bayley going at each other.
NXT took women's wrestling to another level.
When the Women's Revolution came on, you got to see like when they had their first pay-per-view, and for me, I was like, this is still what we grew up with. It's not and did a couple of matches where they just
you had Natalya and Charlotte going at it. That was freaking awesome.
Awesome matches, and so now that's what I appreciate. That's what I look for in a match. And when I still get these fluffy, and I don't mean TNA the wrestling promotion. I mean TNA tits and ass wrestling, where they're just more interested in how they look than the performance they're putting on. I don't enjoy those. I want to see actually talent in there.
Yeah, but that's what we're not getting. We're getting a lot more like hard hate. Like I said, I prefer, the Bayley and Io match of night 2 was my favorite match of the night. Yeah. So, the women can do it, and I mean, especially WWE has been really good at showing that talent. Hopefully TNA gets back to it. Like they kind of dropped the ball with their last ownership or however they had it running. Whatever they just kind of like ever since the sale of it, they kind of dropped the ball on the way women's wrestling was presented. Maybe the pandemic has a lot to do with it. The pandemic ruined a lot of things, but they have a lot. They have a lot of talent. So hopefully that AEW, like I said, ROH is presenting the women's talent a lot better than AEW is at this time. But I mean, I think that comes down to you have so much talent and only so much time. And I really think that instead of it being Ring of Honor, it should just be a women's show.
Well, with AEW, they're just doing trial by fire.
Yeah. A lot of it.
Look.
I mean, it's still a young company. They still don't have their feet under them. They're still trying to find their identity.
They're like here's Serena Deeb, here's Toni Storm, here's all these girls that are really great. We're gonna put you in against these girls that don't know really what they're doing in a match on TV. Go.
Yeah.
And you can tell how one side of these things who's carrying who and what.
Well, Serena Deeb. Yeah. Oh man. Don't get me started on how good she is, and I don't understand why she isn't utilized better. But yeah, Serena Deeb is amazing. I mean, that's the problem with AEW. They have so much talent, and like I said, they haven't really found their identity in a lot of situations. I think they're still kind of figuring them out. And I've always said that wrestling doesn't need writers, but Tony Khan
needs a writer.
He dream books, so like he makes all these matches that are awesome, but we're not told why. You when you get a billion matches and you don't know why these matches are happening, it kind of makes it hard to watch sometimes. If he had a writer to make sense of his matches that he wanted to see, I think it would be a lot cooler. That's my opinion, mind you. Some people may just love the shoot and go style. I mean, that's how they do it in Mexico. There's hardly any. All the storytelling is done in the ring, which I don't think translates very well with American audience. But I could be wrong. Who knows?
Yeah, I think with that though we should wrap up. But I want to say one thing real quick. Tony Khan, stop making Shibata a jobber, please. Okay, that's all I have to say.
stop making it. There's a list of people that need to stop being made jobbers, but
Anything
that's
else,
everywhere though.
Anything else that was on this weekend?
That's all. I mean, that's all we did. This is about almost 2 hour show. We're about as long as WrestleMania at this point.
Right.
This is gonna become multiple podcasts. So.
Right. The dog has been watching Dune in the side.
Yeah, right. But I mean, I think we've covered the major shows. There is one more match actually that I did watch. I watched it last night, which was Blue Panther and Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson. I don't know. Watch all this WWE stuff, and they kept bringing his name up. And it was an awesome match, especially considering how old Blue Panther is. Definitely worth watching. I'm sure it was CMLL. They had done a 6-man, I think maybe a month ago, maybe a couple of weeks ago, where it was the Blackpool Combat Club in Mexico against Blue Panther. And
it was about a month ago.
Was it? I don't remember how long ago.
The CMLL came over to AEW.
I literally just saw it like this weekend. So, then Blackpool Combat Club got the win, and Daniel said he wasn't happy with it. He wanted Blue Panther 1-on-1, and he had said how Blue Panther was his idol. If you're not familiar with who Blue Panther is, he is a icon in Mexico, one of the best to ever put on a mask, and for his age, I was thoroughly impressed by this match. So definitely watch. Danielson.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it was everything, and a nice celebration at the end where Blue Panther was walking around the ring with Danielson on his shoulder. And the crowd was very happy with it. And they're, when you go to another country to win over their fans is impressive. So that was definitely something I wanted to mention. It was an awesome match. So that's gonna end it for this panel cast.
For now.
Yeah, this is gonna be like this bonus episode apparently. We'll be back. I will be doing my version of the panel cast every Wednesday. It will be out. I'm going to stick to my guns every Wednesday. What do you have coming?
Right. Well, we're going to be doing some reviews coming up soon. Monkey Man, stuff like that.
Excited for that.
And then April 15th is we're releasing a new print. Collaboration between me and Joel Katz. Fictional Studios will be coming out on the website. And we're trying to put out a podcast every week. Be it me and Richard or me and the other guys or me or whoever. So just keep tuning in. ForbiddenPanel.com, ChaosCollectibles.com. We're crazy.
Yeah, we're gonna have content out there as much as possible. If you're following us on TikTok, hopefully my videos and all my posts will stop getting violated. Don't even know why, but they keep pulling my stuff down. Whatever. I'll keep putting it up.
I can do it.
Yeah. So you're going to get the full versions, though, on YouTube. That's where you get, obviously. Obviously, you can follow AJ, ForbiddenPanel.com. Follow me at Crooked Smile Collectibles. And we do have on our website, as well as the stuff we have for sale, we do have a page for the panel casts on there now, too. So
sweets.
Yeah. So pretty much whatever we got coming forward. Next week, I don't know what I'm going to delve into. Who knows? Sometimes I get a wild hair and I'll throw a bonus episode here and there, a little something. I've got a whole lot of customs that I'm working on. So who knows? Stay tuned.
I don't know.
Thanks for joining me, AJ. This is Richard for Chaos Collectibles.
AJ, Forbidden Panel. Thanks for having me. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Sorry to be so long-winded.
Stay classy, everyone.
Peace.
That's my thing.
No, call me. No, hang loose.
You're right next to me. Oh, someone else.